In today's video, I'm sharing with you 7 little small daily habits that will make your life incredible in 30 days if you incorporate them into your daily life. This is not some token self-help video. I truly know that these are tried and tested activities or processes or habits, whatever you want to call them, that will really make your life better. If you're over 50 like me and you struggle sometimes with being overwhelmed or just feeling not as fulfilled, maybe because you're retired, maybe because you're an empty nester, maybe because work is just overwhelming, election coming up and everyone is fighting, these are processes that will make your life feel better and make you happier no matter what you're dealing with. If this sounds interesting to you, I hope that you'll stick around. I hope you'll stick around to the end and not just blow off this video, because I really believe that these practices can be life-changing. I know they can. So stick around. We're about to get right into it.
In those Gucci slides, yeah, I wonder what she hides under her disguise. Yeah. And all the girls around the world, they wanna be her. And all the dudes are trying to...
I'm Mona. I'm gonna be 54 this very week, and I have incorporated these practices into my life. I like to bring you content about beauty, skincare, and lifestyle tips, tools, and topics for the over 50 women and help us live our best half in the second half. I truly believe attitude and little small habits can totally make the difference in what kind of life we're having, and you have control over all of that. So that sounds like something that's interesting to you. If you want to live your second half as your best half, consider subscribing to this channel, joining in the conversation. This is our space. Tell me what you want to hear about. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what you're struggling with. And consider listening to these topics that we're going to talk about today. First one, stop putting off life's uncomfortable tasks. You may think of that as just another word for procrastination, but I'm not really talking about procrastination as a rule. I'm talking about the things that are bogging us down that we think maybe we're shoving off because if we put them in a drawer somewhere, if we don't deal with them today, then we're going to get to them later. We cannot think about it today because we don't want to ruin today's happiness by dealing with that problematic thing. Whatever that problematic thing is, if you don't take it out and deal with it today, it's in the back of your mind somewhere. Some kind of way it is stealing your joy, taken away from your joy today. I promise you it is better just to take it out, tackle it, and make whatever it is yesterday's news. A year ago, July 4th, I fell outside while walking my rescue dog Gracie and broke my hip. And I had to call an ambulance because I couldn't get up and get into a vehicle or get up and walk because my hip was broken. My femur right at the head was broken. So I did not think, well, which ambulance that might come when I call 911 is covered by my insurance? I just called 911 and whatever ambulance they sent, that's the one I was going to ride in. So I felt totally justified in what happened. But by not dealing with it and putting it off until another day, it was constantly in the back of my mind. And it doesn't just go away because we put it in a drawer. Eventually, that turned out to hurt me because they sent it to collections. And ultimately, I won the battle, but I didn't feel like fighting that fight on a lot of different days. It would have been better to take that out, go ahead and address it, and make it yesterday's news before they sent it to collections because I didn't bother to respond. It took some work. I had to make some phone calls. I had to talk to the doctor, talk to the hospital, get some notes, send it to the insurance company, send it to the collections to say it was invalid, and actually gave myself some extra work by not dealing with it at the time. You all have examples of this, I am sure, every day. You get a bill that's not your bill or that you shouldn't be getting. You have an issue like this house. We built this house and there's been some problems with it. All of a sudden, one of the windows was not opening, things that should be under warranty, but the builder wasn't wanting to cooperate. So yes, it was going to be a little bit of a hassle, but it was worth getting it fixed because it was just going to continue to aggravate me every time I looked at those things that were broken or weren't done right. It's better for me to take them out, go ahead and have the discussions with the builder and make them yesterday's news. I'm just encouraging you that whatever issue you're facing, whatever little problem, a dispute with someone, a bill, something that's not right, a health issue that you just want to pretend doesn't exist, make that doctor's appointment, make that phone call, deal with that issue, and then it's not stealing your peace anymore. Even if you don't completely solve it, you've made steps or taken steps to fix or solve the situation, and you're at least moving towards a solution, that in itself will make you feel better even if you don't have full resolution. Number 2, get up and get dressed every day. So since 2020, I think that created a mind shift for a lot of people. We couldn't go anywhere, we couldn't go out. I think loungewear and comfy clothes became the norm. I know I went to going into an office to staying at home, and so did a lot of you. Some of you may be now working remotely from home, some of you may be retired. It's just become an acceptable thing in society to wear comfy clothes and put our hair in messy buns, or slap a hat on it, or put it in a ponytail, and there's nothing wrong with that on occasion. But I have made a commitment to myself to get up every day, and I'm not saying you have to wear makeup. I wear makeup, so I'm saying get up, get dressed, as if you were ready to go out somewhere, whether that's to the office, or whether that's to a store, or whether that's to a meeting. Go ahead and do my hair, wash my face, and get dressed. I'm not wearing business suits here at home, but put clothes that I can go out on, and fix myself how I would normally fix myself to go out. And however that is for you, go ahead and get up in the morning and do that first thing. You would be amazed at how much better you feel. And if that's comfy clothes, that's definitely okay. But still, fix your hair how you normally fix it. If you wear makeup, minimalist makeup, or a full face, whatever that is for you, or just put your best face forward in however that looks for you. So I'm not telling you you have to do one thing or the other to be presentable to the outside world, but whatever that is for you, go ahead and get up and do it and get dressed, and you will feel ready to tackle the day. And if you do get an offer or an invitation, or somebody drops by, or you get an opportunity to do something, you don't feel like you're going to put that on the back burner because you're not ready. Because that would keep me a little more isolated, because if I wasn't ready, it would take me a while to get ready. But now I'm ready for anything. I'm more confident. I'm ready to take on whoever comes to the door, whatever problem comes my way, even on my Zoom calls, on my work calls. Or if somebody invites me out to do something impromptu, I don't have to think twice. My husband wants to go to the store, he wants to run an errand, I'm ready to go. And so it's just better for me. It gives me a more positive mindset. Even put on a little perfume or a little body spray if you like that. A little smell good, even if you're staying at home. You would be surprised if you never leave the house how much that makes you feel better. And if you have a spouse or a partner, I guarantee you they'll notice. My husband has noticed, and he appreciates that I look a little nicer when he comes home probably than he did when I was just always in pajamas all day long. So just consider trying that. Number 3, dealing with guilt. We all have things, most of us have things that we may feel guilty about, or if it's not actually guilt, it's on our mind. We don't feel good about something. There's something that maybe we did that we wish we hadn't done, or something that we said that we wish we had said differently, because we all have good days and bad days, at least I do. I know I'm not my best self every day. If I have a day that I'm not proud of something that I do, I have started the practice of making a formal apology. So then I feel much better, and the other person probably feels better too. So if I have an encounter at the vet's office, let's just say, and I wasn't wrong, but instead of taking the low road, there was a disagreement in understanding about something, I went ahead and said, you know what, I'm sorry, I could have handled that differently. Maybe I didn't say better, I just said differently. Sorry that it turned out like that. If you're wrong though, and you just have that eating at you, just don't let that eat at you anymore. Just make the call. If you were grumpy with your husband or your partner, tell them you're sorry. If you have a situation with a friend and you feel like you didn't leave it on the best of terms, call them and just talk it through. I had a situation with a friend who might be watching this video as it's up, and with all the political things that are going on right now, we had differences in opinion over politics, which I would imagine is not unusual, and we have been friends for a long time, and I love her so much. If you're watching, who you are. And it was on social media that the exchange happened, and it was not rough by any means, and it was not harsh, and we really didn't say anything that was terrible. But I felt like I had some feelings about it. So I called her up and I just said, hey, I know sometimes we have some differences in political views. I just want you to know that no matter who you vote for or how you think, I still love you because I know who you are inside at heart. And she says, same. I know your heart. I know your heart. Even if we disagree on some portion of this, we have our reasons for that. But we know deep down at the core who each other is, and that we're both people who try to be the best versions of ourselves that we can. Loving, caring, community-minded people. And it's okay that we disagree on this. And especially with the elections coming up, you may find yourself in situations like that too. And most of the time, I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but most of the time, these kind of divisions can be healed. It took one small phone call, and everything was right again. And I felt so much better because it was bothering me that maybe we left it in a bad place. Pick up the phone and talk to a person, whether it be your child, whether it be a parent, whether it be a neighbor, whether it be a coworker. Just say you're sorry. And even if you weren't wrong, you can say you were sorry for how things went, and could we find a path forward? So the other thing is saying no. Number 4 is learning to say no. And this is hard for me because I am a people pleaser by nature, which is why number 3 probably had me feeling so bad. But we can't always say yes. We have to know what our most important things are. We have to make sure our priorities are straight. If you have any doubts about that, if you can't name off your top 3 priorities right now, write them down on a sheet of paper. What are your 3 most important priorities? And make sure that you're keeping those in mind when you're saying yes or taking on something new. People ask us for a lot of things. I have people in my family who only want what they can get from me. Thankfully, it's just a couple of people. Most of the people in my family are supportive and loving and caring and givers. But there are a couple who constantly want to take. And there's never a thank you or an appreciation. It's just, hey, I need $50. Or hey, I need $100. Or hey, can you send me $200? Or whatever it is. They don't even open the conversation with niceties. It's just what they need. And then they're not going to contact me again until they need something else. I have to look at my priorities, and I also have to look at what I stand for. And I have to balance my values with my priorities and decide if I'm going to say yes or if I'm going to say no. And then time. I have to decide very carefully what I'm going to give my time to. I have just a limited amount of that. And we never know what's going to happen. We never know when life is just going to be gone. I've lost too many people suddenly at too early of an age. And I want to make sure that I'm spending my time doing the right things with the right people for the right reasons. Sometimes it's right to say yes, even if that takes away from yourself. Like if it is a funeral and you know that you going is going to bring comfort to somebody else. And being compassionate is one of my values. So that's something maybe that I should say yes to. But if it doesn't align with one of my values and it's not in my priority list, then I need to say no. Even if I care about the people, I can do it with kindness and say, you know what? I can't do that because I haven't had time with my family or spent time with my husband in a while, and we've carved out that time. So a lot of times we look into the future and we think, oh, yeah, I can do that 3 months from now. So you commit to something. But then when it gets up to the time, starts getting closer, you start having some stress and anxiety and feelings of overwhelm about that commitment. And I don't want to see you get into those states. That's stealing your joy. That's stealing your peace. And we can't afford to have any peace stealers in our life once we get past 50. We need to appreciate every day, make the most out of every day, and make sure we're spending our time wisely. So sometimes that means saying no to people asking us for things or time commitments. It's always a balance. And the way you decide those should be looking at your priorities and looking at your values and making sure that those align with both. Sometimes it's okay to say no. So number 5, moving your body every day. We've heard that, so don't click off with that. This is very important for a lot of different reasons. And in 30 days, if you make a commitment to move your body every day for 30 days, you will feel better. And I'm saying move your body because I don't know what your health situation is. If you are able to walk That is one way that I recommend that you move your body every day. And try to walk outside if you can. There's a reason for that. If you go walk outside and you're getting sunlight and you're moving your body, start small. Start with 5 minutes, increase to 10 minutes, 15. Try to shoot for like 15 or 20 minutes of walking every day. You're going to get sunshine. You're going to get exposed possibly to other people. Human connection is good. We're going to talk about that. And the sunlight is actually good for you and your circadian rhythm, and it is good for getting some vitamin D, which, by the way, most of us these days are deficient in vitamin D. We have so much technology, we're staying inside more. If we can get outside to move our body, we're getting multiple benefits at one time. So moving our body is important because we know that inactivity is one of the leading causes of death-related illnesses in our population today. We are not moving as much as we used to. We're not moving enough. We're on our computers. We're on digital technology. Now, a lot of us are working remotely. Some of us are retired. There are reasons that we have stopped moving. We want to move because we want to keep not just muscle strength and health reasons that are obvious, but also, you know, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. You know that keeping our strength is important as we get older because muscle strength and muscle conditioning starts to decline as early as 30. But it's not just about the strength, although that is important. Moving creates more blood circulation. It is causing blood to circulate. An increase in blood circulation is helping your heart. It's helping your other organs as well. It's also helping your gut health, and it's helping your brain. So we are releasing endorphins when we walk or move our body, which is helping us to be happier and less stressed and less depressed. And it is helping us be less snappy with other people, believe it or not, because we are in a better mood. But that is a benefit that is so important just in getting along with others and our connections with other humans. It's also good for ourselves. You really will feel better if you walk every single day for 30 days. Try it, and then it becomes a habit. You can work it in at any time that's convenient for you. And if you have to break it up into chunks, that's okay too. Sometimes for me, with calls and work and cooking and all the things that I do, sometimes I have to break it up into chunks. So I may do 3 10-minute walks in a day instead of 1 30-minute walk in a day. But I make sure to get all my steps in a day and to keep moving. Wherever I am, I keep something to help me strength train because we want to keep our bones and our muscles strong too. We're going to be much healthier, live a much longer life, most likely, and be able to increase the chances that not only are we living longer, but that we're able to get around and enjoy our life better if we're taking just a few minutes to strength train every day. You can do this while you're making coffee. So while my coffee is brewing in the morning, I have one of these weights in my dining room. We can keep one of these weights next to my bed, next to my desk while I'm on a conference call. I will be sitting here on the conference call if I'm not on camera, just strengthening my muscles. And then I'll go up the stairs every day. It doesn't require a gym membership or anything expensive. You can use your own body weight as resistance. I also have a pack of resistance bands that I love, and I can link those below. They're just from Amazon, and I'll sit here and use those as well and stretch my legs, stretch my feet. I have steps in my house, so I'll just, in between calls, go up and down my steps several times. Those are things that are helping to strength train. And even if you're limited, let's just say your mobility is limited and you're in a wheelchair, you can still do stretches and do exercises and work out the parts that you can. You can use canned goods that are in your cabinet to lift and increase your muscle strength. Start small. Start with 5 minutes. If that's too much, start with 1 minute. And just increase slowly. If any of you are interested in my simple exercise routine for strength training, not the walking, but for building strength without going to the gym, let me know and I could actually do a video on that. The other thing I want to say about moving your body, when you go out and walk or you get some kind of movement, if you can't walk and you're moving your upper body but you're moving it vigorously, do you know that that actually helps your brain work better to problem solve? I know that when I am trying to do something creative for work, or I'm working on a presentation, or sometimes when I want to really do a great video for you guys and I'm thinking about a topic, when I'm sitting down with pen to paper, you almost have like writer's block or an inability to solve that problem. And when I go out and walk and all the blood is circulating to my body, to my brain, to my organs, all of a sudden ideas start flowing. Even though I'm really not thinking about that when I'm walking, it starts to pop into my head. Oh, you know what? There's an idea for this. So there is science-backed evidence to prove that you can have those benefits from moving your body as well. All right, on to the next one. Number 6, connecting with another human being every day. And I'm not just talking about like your spouse. So if you live alone, this is especially important, but sometimes even with the people in your own house. So since 2020, and I started working remotely, I have found myself getting increasingly isolated. I do YouTube, that's digital, right? And I'm thankful for the connections that I have with you guys. I love when you comment and join the conversation in the comments. That adds so much to my life. But part of that reason is because I don't get out enough. And my kids tell me that all the time. My grown young adults, not children, my grown young adults who tell me you need to get out more. My husband even says, because he still goes to work every day. I could literally be in this house without having a reason to leave except to do a walk for weeks. So that is not healthy and it's not good. We need human interaction. We need human connection. If you're finding yourself isolated, you're going to get depressed, you're going to get lonely, and none of us should be lonely. I'm always here. Reach out to me if you feel lonely. If you want human connection on the phone, maybe I can't see you because you're in a different country or you're in a different state, but you can call me. We can even FaceTime or we can WhatsApp chat. But human connection is so important. It's important for our mental health. And there's no shame in saying that our mental health is suffering because we find ourselves isolated. I think it's harder to make friends sometimes after we get to be a certain age. For some of us, not for all of us. But I'm working from home now, so I'm not interacting with colleagues at work in person. We're not stopping by each other's office to chat anymore. We're not going to have lunch during our lunch break. I'm working till 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening sometimes here. I'm stopping to go cook dinner for my family, but sometimes I'm not even having meaningful conversations with them because I'm working and then I'm trying to fit in YouTube, and then before I know it, it's time to go to bed and get ready for the next day. So have human connection. Stop and talk to people when you do go to the grocery store. Don't just like go in and get your groceries and check out. Like you see maybe the same people at the cashier every time at the checkout. Take the time to tell them hello. Ask them how their day's going because maybe they feel a little isolated too. It helps that now I'm getting up and getting dressed and getting ready because I'm less likely to not get out. I'm more likely to get out and have some human connections. Call an old friend. You'd be surprised at how fast you can reconnect. I know that as our children are in ball, in sports, or dance, or whatever they're doing with their activities, and as we get to times in our life where we're working a lot, that friendships sometimes can get put on the back burner, and life gets in the way. And then we get to this age where maybe our children have grown up, and we're not doing those things anymore, or maybe we're not in the workforce anymore, and we're retired, and we don't have as many opportunities to interact. So we need to seek them out. Maybe get a hobby, maybe join a club, maybe join a gym, or join something that interests you. Think about something that you always wanted to do that was in your bucket list or on your bucket list, but you never had time for, but you have time for it now. So maybe do something like that. That will cause you to have opportunities to rebuild friendships. All right, last but not least, hang on just a little bit longer. That is it goes kind of along with that one, is to nurture the friendships that you do have. We all get so busy with life that we forget, or we get too busy or think we don't have time to reach out. Make the effort. I have a neighbor who lived by my old house that sometimes we'd have breakfast or lunch, and once a week we tried to do that. And she had been my neighbor for years, and I enjoyed, talking with her. And since I've moved to this location, it's harder to connect. But it's not impossible. All it takes is me reaching out, and she would be like, yeah, what day you want to get together? And then I have a friend from college that, I've recently reconnected with. So it's not impossible. And then that other friend that had the issue with the politics, that I reached back out. We need to nurture and continue to give some of our energy into those relationships. I think that as women over 50, nurturing friendships should be one of our priorities, because I think that it can really enhance our lives and help us avoid the loneliness that can happen as we get older. That's what I have for you today. I know for a fact that the steps that I've taken, all of these steps I've taken myself, have made my life better. And I know that they can make your life better too. Pick one at a time if it seems too overwhelming to do them all at once. Little small habits that we incorporate, try it for 30 days, let it become a habit, and then move on and add in another one. Our mental health and well-being and our physical well-being are both important. And these steps, these habits, contribute to both. If you incorporate these 7 steps into your daily habits, you'll find that you're better physically and mentally, and your life truly will be better in a month. Sound off in the comments. Join me in the conversation. Help get Mona out of her isolation by giving me some conversation. Don't just stop by. Comment, let me know, share, let me hear from you. Let us hear from each other on how we improve our lives over 50. And if you have any habits that I didn't include that you think would change my life or somebody else's, please put them in the comments. This is our space. This is our space to grab hold of life after 50 and make it the best part of our lives. And this is where we share the ideas and the topics that help us do that. I'm so glad that you stopped by, and if you stay to the end of the video, I'm most grateful for that. I appreciate all of you. You all, when you're talking to me in the comments, you're adding to my life happiness. This channel is important to me because I really want to create a community of women helping women. And I think we can do that here. So until the next video, take care of yourself. And if you're ever lonely, if you ever need somebody to talk to, I know I'm just a person on YouTube for most of you, but my email address is always in the comments. And I'm always available. You can get my number, you can call me, you can reach out. I believe we need to be there for each other, and I am definitely willing to be there for you. See you in the next video. Bye.
She lives a double life. What's on the show? What's under the subtle smile? We'll never know. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's not